Okay, so we see we have the Atari 800 out completely bare on the desk. Had a bit of a clean up, wanted to do some more content, few different things I wanted to do, but thought, yeah, let's just have a look. A few loose ends around at the moment, including the 800. So what have I done? I've just generally been reseating things, cleaning up. I found a couple of sort of areas where chip legs weren't buzzing out too well. These here, there was a bit of corrosion and a bit of sort of white powdery stuff. So I thought, oh yeah, maybe we found something here. We're not getting a good connection, as I thought we'd already been over all these. So yeah, that's all been cleaned up. There's a bit of that been going on, and then yeah, this one. Now, as you obviously you will probably see, all of the chips here, you got that little notch to show which way round they should be, and a number 1 on the board helps you out there, so they're all oriented the correct way. And I've been quite vigilant while I've been taking things in and out of this to hold everything the right way round. If I'm swapping components around, I'm making sure I'm not leaving things out on the desk so they can get flipped. I'm doing a full swap both ways. But yeah, I noticed this one, hold on, that white dot was facing the other way, and there's your number 1. That doesn't look right. It's not consistent, so flipped it around, and yeah, we got a little bit of a change of behaviour. So I'm just going to turn on, check the switch, it is off here, put some mains on. Got some power issue. I get a USB beep on my PC every time that happens. That's really most bizarre. I need to check that out. So I'm turning that on there, and see, the board is powering up. We've got the LEDs, but yeah, unfortunately the capture's far over to my right. So let's just turn that off, and yeah, point you over at my screen there. So you're getting the flash, you're seeing it powering on, and we've got a completely black screen. Now, I've tried, as I adjust the potentiometer on the back of the it's the CPU board, I get a slight brightness change, but don't think you really picked that up on camera. We're getting a black screen, and adjusting potentiometer, you don't get all the changes in colours that I was getting before. Something has definitely changed, but yeah, no real joy in getting a further output. Just generally tinkering around after that, and I was looking at what else have we, we've changed something, so what else have we swapped before that we can swap again. And you remember I sourced this replacement 10K ROM board. So a short while ago, flipping back over, I did the same flip here. So let's do that again. Let's just turn that off, take the mains out of the board, and this bare 10K ROM board that came with the 800, we're going to put that to one side. I'm going to put this fully cased, potentially with thermal issues, but for a short while we should generally be okay. So yeah, ready to turn it back on. We'll check that's off first, give it some mains from the wall, and let's just scoot you over here, and we turn this back on. And look what we have here. Now let me just adjust potentiometer here, because I thought when I got this before, we got some colour. There we go. And literally that's as far as I got 5 minutes ago before starting this video. So let me just stop here, and I'm going to plug a keyboard back in. Okay, back looking at the desk here. Here we go, just loosely put the case on, plug the keyboard back in. That connector is really, I think all the pins are slightly out of alignment. It's really stiff. Maybe the sort of contacts inside are a bit corroded. I feel I don't really want to be putting that on and off too many times, that I'm going to break something. So also plug the speaker back in. So yeah, let's get some mains power to this and press some keys. Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. Why would we not be getting anything? Well, that's a shame. What else can we do here then? I can try and seat that keyboard a little bit better in a minute, but maybe we can put a cartridge in and see if we can get some different output. So hold on. Okay, what we've done, we've pushed the keyboard connector in a bit more underneath. We've put the plastic card bay back in after taking all the cards out and reseating them. Let's try it fully populated with basic, and yeah, let's get some mains. Just a single cursor. Keyboard's not doing anything. It's very strange. But this is definite progress. I'm really quite chuffed about this. That hex buffer chip was the wrong way round. I think it always has been since I got the unit, because we were always getting that strange distorted output that just didn't look right. Of course it didn't. The chip was round the wrong way. God knows, signals going all over the place. So now that's round the right way. We are getting a video signal out of this, but we're not getting much going on after that. Okay, here's the situation with the Atari 800. Tried a few things. I've swapped out the OS ROM chips with the other 10K board, and found I put it back in the black screen state. So those OS ROMs are definitely a problem in that original board. I then proceeded to swap out the other chips on that board, and same behaviour with every single one. So doesn't rule it out. There could be something wrong with chips on either board, but it's unlikely. So I think we might have a good 10K board now, good OS ROMs. Where are we? So yeah, so what I wanted to just demonstrate here is something I just discovered. If I come back into the machine, I previously found the reset button is working. See, I'm getting a black screen there, but I've got the keyboard and top piece just kind of resting on the power board underneath, so all those keys should line up. And if I hold down system reset and start an option here, oh, you see? So we have a loading noise, and if I press enter, nothing else happens that we can actually see. I mean, we've got no tape drive or anything attached, but there's logic going on there. So what is actually happening? We're not getting the Atari memo pad. When I put basic in, it's not loading the basic cartridge. So that's rather odd to me. It's I kind of indicated it. I thought the OS ROM logic was bad, but proving if we swap them out, then yeah, we go back to that old behaviour. This is curious. More thought required. Okay, here we are again. We've tried a few more things, leaving the two OS ROM chips alone. We swapped all the other components on the 10K ROM board with the other one to no avail. Then concentrated on the CPU board. I swapped out the PIA. I swapped out the GTIA. So basically I'm working on the principle that, you know, I've swapped all these before, but we've made a positive change, so all bets are off. None of the other swaps are really valid, apart from the fact that we did validate all of the chips in this in an 800XL. I would like to note that, because that's kind of interesting for the next bit. Now I got to the pokey. Now I swapped the pokey with one from our loaner 800XL, Lenny Loaner, and we got a yellow screen. And I thought, that's strange, because that pokey works in that other machine. So then I put the original pokey back, and back to the same situation. We're just getting the blue screen with the cursor. So I then found a further 800XL that I happen to own, which I think is a Rev A motherboard, fully socketed. Another one, yeah, bought a few. And I swapped the pokey in. You see that? Atari computer memo pad. And we have keyboard action. So let's go back to the machine. I'm going to turn that off. It's my basic cartridge, left cartridge. I've never had an 800 before. Basic is on board on the 800XL. Ready. And there we have it, your classic basic test. I think we have a working Atari. think I can hear sound. I don't have it turned up over there. You have to be quite firm. Yes. There we go. There we go. The keyboard was not quite resting right, but then I pushed it down. So here we go. We have a working Atari 800. I'm so happy about this. I was quite, well, like that. Before, when I got so far, I tried everything I could possibly think of and put it to one side because, you know, I had a lot going on, didn't really have time to investigate any further. But really, just one silly thing, that hex buffer was round the wrong way. That got me to getting some output, but then we found that we had another problem. I'm still a bit confused about this because... Let's turn the sound down. The pokies that I've used, the donors for this machine, all work in their respective machines that they've come from. As far as I recall, last time I used them, they were all working machines. I will be retesting them after this because what I discovered was from my loaner machine. That caused the yellow screen booting. And then from my other machine, fully working, hardly touched Reveille board, I believe it is, that solved the problem. Suddenly this has sprung to life by having the hex buffer turned around the right way. The OS ROM changed and the pokey changed. Also, we've recapped the board. Also, we've reseated a lot of things, but we've got no way of knowing if any of those things have contributed. So there's three main factors to this: the OS ROM, the pokey, and the stupidly positioned hex buffer that I'm convinced is not me, because I had the same output from the first time, and that was caused by that upside down hex buffer. So yeah, we'll do a recap and then round this all up, see what we've got to say. I will rig it up and we'll get the capture card. We'll have a little bit of fun with this machine on the next part of this video. Thank you very much. Okay, in this section, I'm just here to solve a little bit of a mystery before we put the 800 back together. I think the pokey that I took from the other Atari XL, 800 XL, has found a new home, probably permanently in that 800. The thing that I don't understand is the other pokey that I took from the original Lenny Loaner 800 XL made the screen go yellow, and I'd already tested that was all working to begin with, but I had swapped the other pokey out and we thought that worked as well. We thought all the pokies were good because, you know, we'd verified them all in the XLs. So is it possible that in all the messing about and potentially the fact that I powered the machine up several times with the 4050 hex buffer round the wrong way, could I have damaged one of the other chips? So the only way we're going to find that out is by putting these original machines, the loaner machines, the 800 XLs, back together and checking them out. So let me just get one. Okay, so toying with which is the best way round to do this, but so this is not the original loaner. This was a complete working 800 XL that I'd hardly touched. So here it is here, and you can see I've taken the pokey out. I think that keyboard connection is very dodgy on this one, so I'm not going to disconnect that. I'm just going to lean that up there. Okay, so now, is this a fair test? I think yes, let's do this, because this is the pokey from the 800. And I was pretty sure we'd already verified this in the other 800 XL, the loaner. But the machine wasn't booting at all, the 800, with this chip. So let's just give this a try in one of the previously known good machines. So I'm going to place that chip in there carefully. Yep, that went in straight, and we're going to steal what we need from the power on my main Atari 800 XL, my original childhood machine, which is sitting behind us there. So there we go, there is the power. Yeah, okay, and the video is down here because it's stretching across the room from where I was using it with the 800. So we just retrieve that, plug that in. Okay. Alright, power up my PC, bring up OBS Studio. Don't know if you can actually see that on this video. Let's bring that quite low down. Yeah, that's perfectly visible. Okay, so let's turn this guy on. How interesting. So, let's just turn some sound up. Yep. So with the pokey from the 800 in this 800 XL, it's working fine. That's just bizarre. So it's not a bad pokey, but it's a pokey that the Atari 800 would not boot with. This still remains a complete mystery. Yeah, it's fine. This is a perfectly functioning Atari. Okay, so we've learned here the pokey from the 800 is actually good in an 800 XL. So I'm going to take that out. We've got one more thing to verify before I proceed to put the Atari 800 back together. So let's take this unit out of the way. And the machine here, which I'll be referring to as Lenny Loner, has had its original pokey returned to it. Now this pokey chip, about, I don't know, 13-14 hours ago, late last night, within the Atari 800, it was causing it to boot with a yellow screen. So this pokey, which was previously tested good in this very machine, which may have been its original home, I lose track, but it was certainly working in this machine is what I'm trying to say. Well, let's just see if we boot to basic. Interesting, nothing. Okay, let's have a cartridge in there. There's a okay, we're getting something. So the cartridge being a ROM, it's kind of booting straight to that, so it's getting a little bit further, maybe addressing something on the cartridge before it runs into a problem, which is very much, we think, to do with the pokey. Right, okay. Let's just, for the sake of completion, let's try a different cartridge. And we're getting the same sort of behaviour every time. Okay, so we have what looks like a bad pokey chip here. I am going to take the pokey from the machine we were just looking at. Let's get this back. Let's just rest it lightly on top. And let's have this pokey out for a moment. Okay, get you out of the way for the moment. Let's just take the power out for safety's sake. The good pokey is going back. We're having power, and we'll go straight on. What? What on earth? So something's happened to this machine. I think maybe the pokies are now a bit of a red herring in terms of the state of Lenny. Lenny don't want to boot with anything pokey. Now I was swapping in and out other chips with the 800 and not verifying this XL was still working during that activity, so it could well be one of the other ICs is bad and we just haven't realized when that's occurred, because at one point it was they were all fine. I suppose, you know, I was working quite late on this. There is the outside chance that I did swap something with the 800 and not swap it back, but I really think I was being more careful than that. I don't think that's highly likely. Okay, so there's Lenny left with nothing in it. Now I'm just going to take this AV cable back over to the 800, and as I've returned the pokey back, I'm now going to just verify that this machine is still sound again. Yep, and that boots Pac-Man immediately because that's what we left in the cartridge slot. Still don't know what's going on. The USB device loses connection each time. Always do wonder what's wrong with the mains in this place. Can it be contributing to some of the problems? I doubt it, but that is a bit weird. Okay, so yeah, Lenny's sick. We don't know why. Do you know, today I don't care. We'll come back to sorting this guy out at some point. Maybe we'll do some swaps of all the other major ICs with that other board, the Rev, and just check everything else out with a known good pokey back in. We'll narrow it down, we'll find it. I don't think any of these cables are going to come loose, could I? No. But you know, I'm not too concerned. You know, we've achieved here. We've got an Atari 800 fully working from a completely dead state. And yeah, your sacrifice will not go unnoticed. We'll have you working again, don't you worry. Okay, so that's a good point to leave this section. We're going to put the 800 fully back together now we know it's working. Okay, we're back over here with the 800. Let's start putting things back to rights. So it's a few weeks since I took this guy apart originally. Let's see if we can remember what we were doing. Now, should I be taking the keyboard out at this stage? I think so. I think we need to get the boards back in the lower parts of the case first, if I remember correctly. Oh, that came out a bit more cleanly than it has been. Okay, we need to replace this shielding. Removing a little plastic thing that we've got there. Need to line these holes up. So I believe next this metalwork goes on. And it's not quite going home there on the left. It's as if something's not low enough. This whole board is not low enough. Why? What is wrong? Sticking up considerably. It just looks like it's straining or something. Oh, got some key issues. That spring's not right, or is it just because it's not cleaning properly? I'm really tentatively just straining that plastic back to see if I can make it a bit better, but I think it's just, you know, changes of temperature over the years has warped it slightly. Get it lined up. Interesting. And you can see it. Let's look at these keys. Look, it's just getting stuck as it gets pushed down. May allow me to clean it up a bit better. Still got a lot of alcohol on the end of that tip. I wonder if we could score some plastic off of that actually. So again, this is our little minor problem here. It's just that catching it there, I think, is bending in a bit too far, and that doesn't flex too much without it feeling like I'm going to break that as much as I dare. So, alright, let's put the key back in. Hey, actually, that was enough. Just forcing it out, cleaning it off. I think we've done it. Wonder if we should pull all these keys out. Let's give them a bit of movement. That one's getting stuck now, but I don't think it was with the pressure of the spring. Let's put it back, let's have a go. Yeah, that's good enough. It's returning. They're all returning. Good. We're back in business. Right. Slight little detour there, but oh, it's the sort of thing you don't want to find out when you put the whole case back together, that you've got a dodgy key. And hopefully we've also pushed some of the capacitors out of the way. Is that what's causing our problem down here? It does look a bit better. I'm not sure if that looks low enough. Anything else pushing? Now I've got a high capacitor there, but that's not touching anything. I think we're okay, actually. I think we're okay. Let's proceed. Still a bit too high somewhere. Yeah, I've done this totally wrong, haven't I? So we're removing this. We're disconnecting the power board because I now realise that has to go all the way down here. Any Atari experts that have been watching this that be screaming at me, you can breathe a sigh of relief now. We're not going to force the case in that incorrect position. Now, power board, alright, it just kind of, oh, how's that going? Oh, I see. I think it's sitting home, and that actually sits on top. Right, so it's not quite home. It needs to kind of go in from the other side, almost, unless we can manipulate that down. I'm sure there was a much more elegant way of doing this, but I think we're home now. Right, okay. That just feels like everything is back to the right level now. Yeah, look at that. That is clean. I think there's something fundamentally wrong there. Wow. Everything's level and we've not had to force anything around. time to realise. Joystick port's the right way around. This is going to sit nicely on top. Ooh. Yes, absolutely nicely sitting home. We like this. We're on the final stretch. It all feels solid. And we come to this side again, all the cards are in a nice position. Right, top the case. It just kind of sits there, doesn't it, really? I always keep all the components I remove when I'm working on Atari. So, having a look here. Oh, is that a part from one of the 10K ROMs? I'm not sure what that is actually. Oh dear. Hopefully it's not material. Does it look like it comes as part of that? I'm not sure. Anyway, we're going to keep that. We have all the so unidentified part. We have all of the capacitors that I removed and replaced inside this machine. We seem to have a few leftover screws, so maybe we'll put this back together a little bit better at some point in the future. I don't think that was retaining something somewhere. I mean, it was a few weeks ago I pulled them off, so obviously kept them, but I don't think that's material. We got these little what are they, rectifiers, I think, which I replaced. Of course, we got no way of knowing if replacing any of these parts or these capacitors, rectifiers, what have you, made any difference, because they didn't at the time, and you know, the faults we've spoke about were discovered later. However, you know, they may have been also dead or faulty. Having new capacitors in a unit is a great thing to do. It should hopefully clean up the signals considerably, and yeah, it doesn't hurt. So here we go. One Atari 800. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We may just do a quick transition, but I'm just going to move over to the other desk. Let's have this machine for a little while in pride of place off the workbench and on my main desk here. Well, first of all, let's just turn it on. Oh, you're kidding me. Oops up. Well, that came straight out. Maybe that's a clue. That is the 2 boards multi-pin connector, just came straight out. Right, this might be a good state to power up. I don't think these boards are connected together properly. That's the deal. Is that not actually? Oh, I thought we worked out it's supposed to go on top. Oh, okay. It sits better for bench tests when that board is not there, but this could be the problem, that the way we put it back together, the power board and the motherboard are not interconnected properly. That's my current working theory. So we've got to be a bit more careful about how we put these guys back together. So is this going to boot now that it's all free and nicely located on the desk? I do hope so, because I really want to get done and start editing this video to put it up, to be honest. Go. Black screen. I'm not happy. Not happy at all. I'm going to reseat this pokey purely because it's the last thing that got changed. And we had a yellow screen with another pokey. So it's, I don't know, this is just weird. I'm so tired of this now. Right, for no reason whatsoever, I'm just flipping back to the other 10K board just to see if we see any change of behaviour. Black, which was the effect with a bad 10K ROM. So we now move back forward to what we think is the correct working ROM. We turn on and we get the yellow pokey error. But as far as we were aware, the other pokey didn't work with this. The later revision one. I'm going to get it anyway. We said earlier we weren't going to touch this machine for a little while because it had a known pokey in it, but we're going to do it because I'm really exasperated now. Okay, let's give it a go. Hold on. That's what we get. But that's not the full memo pad. That was a bug when we got that. Is this thing killing pokies? There's some grime coming off of these pins actually. His feet. I'm getting tired, dudes. Right. We're in. We're powering on. Right, you heard that. Atari memo pad is coming up. Okay, let's try again to reassemble an Atari 800. Hell's bells, eh? Notice I have not been doing a bench test here because I'm confident we don't need to. I hope I'm not going to be eating my words in a moment. Now, where's that damn cartridge gone? Oh, hell. I'm going to have to take a break. Okay, here we are, back at the bench with the Atari 800. Now, off camera, we've disassembled and reassembled the 800 a couple of times. After the first couple of times, realised I wanted to test every single point of putting the case back together, because I have discovered that I have an intermittent fault, which seems to centre, I believe, around the pokey, potentially around this connector here, but I don't think that's the case. It seemed whenever either that was jostled or also was able to sort of affect it by reseating this chip, we go between three states, and those three states are a yellow screen, a blue background with a single cursor just stuck there, and then the third state is fully working with the Atari memo pad coming up, or Pac-Man or whatever if you have it in the cartridge slot. Really strange. Seems to be, I mean, you know, in putting the case back together, you're only really jostling this, or even just manually sort of, you know, moving this a little bit seemed to cause the fault. One of those states, yellow screen or, you know, proper blue background but stationary cursor, but only manipulating the pokey, just reseating it a bit, seems to, you know, with a bit of trial and error, bring it back to working with the memo pad coming up. Now I have totally, as best I can, cleaned all the pins on that power connector, all the pins on the chip. I've basically got this sort of a little bit, just like, you know, done that inside each connector of the socket, just to sort of, you know, score away any sort of corrosion that you can't get to any other way. I've used isopropyl alcohol to clean everything up. I've blown it out with an air duster. I've done the best I can to make sure everything is as clean as it can be, still getting the same sort of behaviour. I have come to the conclusion, which may or may not be correct, that this socket that this pokey is attached to is not very good. I mean, yeah, it's about 45 years old, so, you know, whatever. So I had a little route around. I found some smaller sockets that I had around, and luckily, in a little tub that I put to one side with original 800XL parts written on it, which is basically all the bits I removed from my original 800XL when I installed things such as the Ultimate 1 Megabyte, also the Sophia. All those bits and bobs were left behind because I keep all the stock stuff. It kind of tells the history of the machine. But in there, from I believe the kit that came with the Sophia, or could have been Sophia 2 by that point, they present you with a precision socket because, you know, some of the Ataris need that because you need to desolder the original chip and replace it with a socket. Mine did not. It wasn't fully socketed, but it had a socket in there. So fortunately, I had in that kit, in that Atari 800 tub, a single modern precision socket of the right size. There we go. Just place that over the top there. Perfect. So we're going to desolder, we're going to remove the pokey, we're going to desolder the original socket very carefully. We're going to solder this new socket in, and then we're going to see if that affects things. Let's put it this way, it can't make anything worse as long as we're careful, we don't cause any damage around it. You know, it's a good thing to do. Yeah, sockets can go bad. Right, so let's commence this little exercise. Oh, I realise I've had no light on that whole time. There you go, you can probably see things a bit better. I certainly can. And some glasses on there. Let's start by removing the pokey. Going on the other side, it's coming off. Yeah, it's lifting. Breaking a bit. Oh, yeah, it's broken a lot actually. We're just, I think. Oh dear, right, okay. But that makes it easier because now we can deal with these a pin at a time. Hopefully. Or a bunch of them at a time. Very careful here. Oh, blimey. I mean, yeah, they are corroded as hell. Wow. Yeah, this is the problem. I'm convinced now. It's a wonder we were getting any electrical connectivity at all through these. They're just coming off now in my fingers. I'm trying to get a grip of them, but oh my god. Ow. They get quite hot quite quickly, funny enough. Let me just push them through. Yeah, we can just push them through probably with heat. Right, that was the last one. Let's get this board cleaned up. Look at the mess come off of this. be so careful. That is, oh, is that the trace? It's gone. Oh my god. Right. Pull up a trace, is it? It's only going over there. Might be able to be. I think we're okay because I think that trace is actually still okay. It just needs super. Got to be so careful there. Right, okay. Let's get this cleaned up. What even is going on there? It's like a bit of bloody rust or something. I think that is our main problem. Oh my god. The board is looking very bad there. Closer inspection. That trace is right up. Okay. Yikes. Can I get something down into that hole? As long as we can get a pin through and get that trace working, we're in business, but I just don't like it moving in the breeze like that. I think we're just gonna have to check it all. I'm gonna go for this. I don't think trying to clean it anymore is gonna help because I'm kind of gonna damage the board. So where's my socket? Let's have a look, see. Everything in the right place. Glasses down on my head. This is tough because I'm just so frightened of damaging this board now. I think we've got to get more solder out. Oh. Hold the pad up. Damn it. This is this side of the board, we can see what's happened. Right. I'm hoping we can just sort of solve them in because they've not moved very far. Right, let's get this socket in place and see what we can do. We've lost a trace, maybe. Yep. Totally lost the trace. I'm going to have to repair that. Right. So, what's got to happen here? So we're going from pin 2 to that point in the middle. It's quite easy to identify here. I think maybe we do this afterwards. So second pin there needs to go to, yeah, oh, is it? It's definitely that one there. Okay, so let's remember that. Okay, so I think it's going to be better to do once this socket is in. We ever get there, of course. And there's just plenty of areas where it's just not going to go through. We haven't cleared the holes properly. It's very irritating. We can coax it. I just feel surely we can just heat it. Let's get it aligned properly. Surely we're there now. Of course, noticing the damage there, we'll keep an eye on that. Ow. Let's go this side first. See the pins going through. Ow, it's getting really hot. I need to put something between my hand and it where I can still put some pressure on. Little handkerchief here. Okay. Okay. I feel what I'm doing quite as well, but I can push. That's all I need to do. Oh, here it comes. Here it comes. We're seeing the pins. Concentrating on one side at a time. So we'll flex a little bit, allow us to just get them in enough that we can just focus on the other side. A little jiggle. Oh, yes. What's going on with that one? Am I bending a pin there? Is that leg not actually in? Yeah, oh, let's push the pin back up because of the resistance on that. That's bad. We do not want to damage this precision socket before we've even started using it. So I'm getting ready to push that back in. I'm hoping it's going to bloody stay in and it's not damaged. There it comes. Wow, that one was tricky. It's still not all the way down into the socket. Which one is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one indeed. Oh, come on. Ow. Super hot. Hell's bells. Right, maybe we concentrate on the other side for a little while because we've kind of bent the whole thing up, so it does needs to rotate a bit. Right, that socket's as far as it's going to go in, but now I need to check any more trace damage on this side that's going to need any attention. So following the traces visually, we're good there. We're good there, and here we're bad, I think. Oh, that's going off to the next one, so that there is good. Now here, yeah, here we're in trouble. Now we've got, that trace might be repairable. Let's just slip it over. The pad is still intact, it's just, it's got pushed up. If I can get it over that pin, then it will solder down nicely and we won't have to put any additional wires on. There we go. There we go. Right, straight in on that one with some solder. hold on, looked away. Oh yeah, so focusing on the damage 2 pads away. We'll come to that in a minute. Lovely. I think we're okay. It's not pretty, but we're okay. Right, the next one. Couple along. Again, the trace is hanging loose, but it's still reaching. So if I can just gently. It's kind of got twisted around. It's supposed to be going just. Oh man. Do we just stick a big blob of solder on that and be done with it? I think. Don't think it's going to short on anything else. Doesn't look pretty though, does it? At least it's accessible. We can get back to this side of the board. Good, good. Right, so where was the one I thought was bad? Because that all buzzed out. Because it's all well and good at going one way, but it's supposed to be going 2 ways. So let's jump. Let's jump a little wire between the two. The one to hand I was going to use. Oh, don't know anything about tinning those ends. I probably should. Too long, really, but what can you do? Okay, replace the trace. Right, okay. I think, oh, there was a very high chance that I'm done with this. There's a very high chance that that might be okay. So let's have a look, see. So I'm going to put the board up there for the moment, just carefully while I clear some of this wreckage. Look at the mess we've made. All those horrible corroded pins from that old socket. That's going straight in the bin. Oh. And here's a pokey. Put that up there. Switch is in the off position. roll over to press some keys on my PC keyboard so I can see OBS Studio from a distance. And it's on. Okay. Yes! Oh, sorry, we were a bit tied up here, but there we go. Atari memo pad. First time off the bat. I mean, the amount of intermittence we've been getting, that is an absolute result. Because we've completely changed the socket. We've had some interesting issues on the socket. See a bit of bulging solder underneath there that's come through the board, but it's not shorting on anything. I can see that visually. I'm going to leave. Oh my gosh, actually, that's really close. Right, I'm just going to turn that off. Just buzz that. It's not. No, it's just very close to the pin next to it. But it is okay. But should I remove that? Come on, let's. I think I'm good. Right, soldering iron off. Power into the Atari. And we're straight into memo pad again. I'm happy with that. I think with the inconsistencies we're getting before, I've really hit the nail on the head with this final part of the repair. There's Pac-Man loading on the other screen, I promise you. I'm going to give it all a bit of a jiggle. Something felt like it moved there, but I don't really think it did. Maybe it's just the processor moving down in the socket. Massive jiggle. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put that back on. All the sort of stuff that was destabilising it before. Oh, let's line that up properly. And we'll turn it on again. Straight to memo pad. I am happy with that. I'm going to be careful putting it back together that I check it at several steps during the way, but I think we're done. I think we're done. I don't like to speak too soon, but you know, it's been a long day and a long extended repair job on this that has, I don't know end to end what it's taken me. It's been over the course of about a month or so, but whew, it's been a lot of fun, but lots of frustration as well. That'll do for now. So we're going to stop to do another test. Black screen. Now, my immediate suspicion is that we're not plugged in properly. We're still a bit loose between the power board and the motherboard, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be solidly in, and it's about this time where I start to lose the will to live. I'm quite serious now. This is getting crazy. Oh no, okay, it's a bit loose. It does go much further into the board. It's got to be that. It's got to be that. Okay. I hope it's that. I'm really getting quite sick of the intermittent problems now. Right, get in. Oops, back there, isn't it? Right, come on. Atari memo pad. We're okay, we're all right. We just need to make sure everything is solid. But the biggest thing was that socket, because you know that was nothing we could do about that. The traces underneath that socket were in a bad way. As we found out as soon as we sort of started to lift the socket out, we were pulling traces away with us. Fortunately, I noticed as it was happening, and I managed to kind of salvage a couple of the traces by, you know, kind of teasing them back into the direction they should have been going, and you know, whacking a decent amount of solder to hold it all together. And that's all sort of underneath the socket, so don't think that's going anywhere. That should be fine. Man, and I thought this was going to be a short video. Okay, do you know what? In for a penny. I'm going to carry on. I'm not going to test. Let's get this guy back together. Hopefully. Oh, I'm going to say it. Hopefully for the last time for a little while. Just look, it's going to be 5 minutes and I'll be opening this guy up again. No, this is it. Come on. Confidence, guys. It's going to be okay. It's going to work. Power. I will swear if this doesn't work, I'm warning you. Monitor. PC has timed out again. Flipping over. Okay. Atari memo pad on my screen. Yes. Let's have something else. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. I'm excited. Do you know what? Let's have something else. We've done Pac-Man, we've done tennis. Where else? Something I saw earlier. I won't reveal. Let's just place that in. Close the cartridge bay door. Oops, I didn't turn it off. I just got a corruption on the screen. I remember doing that back in the day. Hopefully you get away with it. And yes. Let's move you over here. So I've turned it off again. I'm going to plug a joystick in. I'm going to turn some sound up on the mixer. Joystick goes in there. And here we go. A relatively stable Atari 800. I say relatively because I'm not taking anything for granted with the time spent on this machine, but since putting that socket back in, this feels right now. That was, I think, the last major issue. You know, maybe I'll hook this up to OBS directly. Sorry, do some recording from OBS a little bit later on. But yeah, there we go. We'll round this all up very shortly, I really do hope, okay? Thank you. Okay, here we are. We got Galaxian up there on the screen. Still all working. Can press reset. That resets okay. Option keys working. That's nice and springy now. Everything's brilliant. Yeah, sorry about this. I haven't even bothered to put up a green screen. You have to put up with the mess behind me. It's been a long day. Said that a few times. Right, so let's just try something else. I'm going to pull out that cartridge, and I have off screen. I really can't be bothered to show you. I've got Respect QT, and let's pick something to try out here. We're going to software. Let's just go into my old games. I need to be careful what I select here. Right, what do we know is going to be nicely compatible with an Atari 800? Looking at things we've had on the channel before. Most of these actually we've had on the channel before, because it is a selection of my old games. I don't think we've actually have we played a game of Frogger? Maybe not. Let's select that. So we're going to load this via SIO. So the first time I've used SIO on the device, that's the reason to do this. So it's mounted. Yep, it's seen the USB port. I've got the SIO to PC USB device connected up. So turning Atari on now. You might hear that twice actually, because I've got the mixer turned up. It's coming through my mic. Let me turn that down. That might be a bit clearer. There we go. SIO's working. Didn't think it would be a problem. This is I've got this on cartridge just over there actually. I think it's just a slightly different version. But let's try it out. Similar, very similar, but I don't think the music starts in quite the same way. Straight in the water. Now, do you know something I'd like to comment? Look at the clarity of the video on this. I think maybe all those capacitors I changed. I think, you know, I mean, obviously I didn't see what this looked like to begin with. I mean, I have heard the 800 stock video is decent, but I mean, that's as crisp as you like, or at least to my eye it is. Hold on, let me just, because I'm looking for a capture card, let me just blow that up a bit. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, there's a little bit of background sort of artificial noise and stuff like that, but yeah, that's clean. I mean, this is a 45-year-old machine. It's just had a few extra capacitors thrown in it, you know, and various other things repaired that were method. Let's just complete a level with this. It's definitely a different version. The music does some slightly different stuff. I'll illustrate that to you in a minute. I'll put the other one in. That's the same, that level 2 music. That's different, I think. There's just much more little musical interludes in this version than the one I'm used to. Right, so there we go, we completed one level. Let me show you that. So I'm going to turn the Atari off. I'm going to pull out the SIO. I'm going to lift the flap and reach over. Because behind me here somewhere we have this. Oh, we did. Oh, where's it gone? It's been visually around here today. Oh yes, sorry, it's upside down. Okay, just moving Windows about so I can see what you can see. Yeah, so there we go. I don't know what camera we're going to use here because we've got two on the go. There is my cartridge copy of Frogger. I'm going to whack that in. and show you this one. It's just a little bit different. This is the one I remember. There's a border at the bottom that was a different colour, and after that initial bit of music it's quiet during the game. There you go. That's the biggest difference, is the silence when you're playing, and the little musical interludes are between levels. That's the biggest difference, apart from those little noises when you pick things up. Oh, okay, oops. But yeah, this is the version of Frogger that I grew up with. This is what we had. So some of the music on that other one was familiar because they're variations on a theme. You do, as you'll hear in a minute, get little bits of music between levels, and I probably did play other versions at some point throughout the years. Might have played it in the arcade, really can't remember. But yeah, the music that I was hearing in that other version was familiar. I just knew it wasn't what I was used to in this. Anyway, we digress. We're here. There you go. That was, I think, the same between levels there. There was a version of this, another completely different version of this that I saw, because I noticed on FujiNet there was a high score competition. There's a version of Frogger on that. I did start to do some recording playing that other version because I wanted to have a crack at the high score, but I was having some big problems with the networking on the FujiNet. I mean, I don't know, is my unit faulty? Is it something in the firmware? Is it something on the Wi-Fi network? Didn't really get that far. It's just another one of those dangling threads, of which I have many. Might get back to that at some point, but yeah. So with the problems, the game kept crashing when you know, I was getting some decent scores. I was in grasp of some of the scores on the high score table. But anyway, that was a completely different version as well. It seems to be a variety of flavours. It was inferior to this for sure graphically, which made me wonder, well, you know, why choose that one for something you want to showcase, like a high score competition? Maybe it was easier to patch, I don't know. But yeah, I think this one or the one we just looked at would be the versions I would have preferred to play, because they're just superior graphically, and the music, I think, is also better if I recall correctly. Anyway, I digress. We're playing the Atari 800 here. We've proved the SIO works. Cartridges work. You know, we know it's got reduced memory compared to the XL series. It's got 48K, so you can't play all the games at the moment. You can play a few games that were released that are 4-player games, because we've got 4 joystick ports at the front of this. I'm not necessarily going to do that now. This isn't about really showcasing this machine. It's an 8-bit Atari with less memory than my other Atari, but you know, this is one of the originals. This came out at the same time as the 400. This was the daddy, this was the more advanced machine. The 400 had only 16K, I seem to remember. Might be getting these figures wrong off the top of my head, because I seem to recall when the 600 XL came out, that also had that RAM limitation, not LAM limitation. That sounds wrong. So, yes, what else to say? Not a lot. It's just been a long road, and I'm glad I stuck at it. You know, this machine was really getting under my skin. I put it away for a while because I had a few things going on, IRL as it were. But we had to drag it out and have a little look. Wasn't what I expected. I was going to reseat a few things, going back to comments on Atari Age and elsewhere that I'd received, focusing on certain chips. To be fair, actually, it did focus me in that 4050. Yeah, we'll spin up at some point, maybe now, or maybe I've done it already if I do narrative over the earlier video, because I haven't edited any of that together yet. You will see the fruits of my labour, because I would have done by the time you're watching it, but I've still got that to do. And I've created a lot more footage for this 3rd episode than I expected. But yeah, let's do this now then. Let's recap off the top of my head. Let's hope I don't forget anything. So
beginning of this episode, the biggest thing was the 4050, which I put upside down, and the point that I went wrong was right here. Okay, and I didn't spot that, so every little bit of troubleshooting I did after that point was invalid. Not great, but there we go. So if I hadn't have done that, I would have probably spotted that my new 10K ROM board was actually good. My old 10K ROM board, I believe the only thing wrong with that is it's got bad ROMs. Of course, we haven't retested this all since the last thing I did, with the socket, but let's assume that was the case. Maybe I'll come back to switching these around and seeing if any of the previous things were invalid, but yeah, I'd already proved most of the ICs worked in other Ataris, so it really had to be something in between, either one of the minor chips or something with the board. So yeah, the 4050 being upside down didn't help, but that wasn't the original fault. The screen was dodgy, so ultimately a combination of the replacement 10K ROM board and, now I'd like to say replacing the pokey, but that didn't do the job, did it? It was a combination of replacing the pokey but then realizing that it wasn't consistent. I was getting these 3 states, and generally breathing on the board was changing the state for the worse. So we pulled the socket out, which was horrendous. I haven't got a heat gun or anything like that. I've taken sockets out in that same way, just by literally applying heat around all the pins, gently prising it. I've done that before on XLs, but yeah, those boards are a little bit newer. Maybe they seem to be a bit more tolerant to doing that. This was not much fun. Really was tough to get that out, and finding that some of the pads were not in great state, and in pulling that out, I mean, maybe I could have done it better if I'd have heated it up a bit more. They would have come out more cleanly, but ultimately traces on the board were coming away as I was doing it. I think those traces were damaged potentially already, or literally they'd fractured, and as soon as you lift anything off the board they were going to come away. That was an accident waiting to happen. However, I've thrown them all away now, but they were on the video earlier. That old socket, once I'd sort of prized that off and had a look at those metal contacts inside, they were in a god-awful state. They were really not silver but grey, and you could see a texture of corrosion on them. They were horrible. I wonder if that's the only IC like that. There could be other problems waiting to happen, but we've not seen it. We've pulled everything else out, and it seems to be behaving, touch wood, at the moment. So yeah, there we go. A replacement socket and a 10K ROM board. Everything else we did may not have had any impact whatsoever, but I'm pleased I changed all the capacitors, because it's something I won't have to do again. Like I say, I've done a full refurb on this, and that video looks clean. So there we go. The Atari 800 repair, which became a little bit epic. 3 relatively long videos. I have no idea how long this video is yet, because I haven't edited this all together, but I just wanted to really draw the line and talk about this and close it off. So thanks for watching this, those that have followed all 3 episodes of this and have been waiting with bated breath to see what would happen. There you go. Maybe this will help others if you're looking to repair a Atari 800. God knows how, because I've really just thrown myself into the thick of it with this one without really understanding what the hell I was doing. But honestly, in doing it, I have had a lot of fun. I really feel a bit more confident and got a bit more understanding of this machine. This is why I do this. I love tinkering with these things. It's the highs and the lows, Last night about 3 AM I thought I'd nailed this, because I saw a bit of life. I saw the the blue screen background, and a bit later on we had the memo pad, and then we had the games running. But as I say, I didn't realise how really shaky this still was. Literally putting the pokey in and out must have been messing with those traces underneath, or just connecting a little bit better. Maybe the traces were still being clamped down by the socket, but in moving that pokey chip in and out, it was just getting slightly better connectivity. I think it was mainly power, perhaps, because as I was manipulating the connector between the main board and the power board, that was also having some impact for the worse. So maybe it was those, I think the 12 volt, if I was on one of those first few pins. I don't know off the top of my head now, I can't remember anything anymore. So there we go. Let's call it. Thank you for watching, everybody. This has been emotional, and yeah, we have an entirely fixed, and that camera's not going to move, we're going to do the other one. We have an entirely fixed Atari 800 somewhere on the desk. There we go. And it works. We'll probably tidy up a bit and put that in a more pride place in the future. So this has been TJ Games channel, and we can actually fix things here, so yeah, keep watching. Love it if you subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this, and take care of yourselves. Speak soon. Bye bye.